BJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. It is time for the question of the morning. And PK.
Yeah.
Timpview's got a basketball star, Dean Rueckert, is announcing his college choice. Expected to hear that later today.
Yeah, I'm going to the announcement.
That's the kind of thing in the tone you say that makes us think you're really not going to the announcement. Will BYU cash in?
I'm going to watch the announcement.
There you go. Okay.
You cut me off.
Okay. Will BYU cash in? Will Kevin Young reel him in? Will he benefit from the BYU cash? And the NIL? Is it all going to come together? They're going to keep a local guy in Utah County.
I think that it is imperative that this kid goes to BYU. He might be symbolically the most important recruit to choose BYU in a good while. Because, and I know it's hard to say, and people don't want hard talk, especially if you say anything that's viewed as negative at BYU. You hate them, you hate the religion, you hate the people. I just do. I hate all of them, so go ahead. I'm fine with that. But I can tell you, people in administration had said, we do not want a team of all non-Latter-day Saints. That's not what we're about.
Not looking for an all-star team from around the country, which is what many powerhouse programs are looking for around the world. Yeah, you're right.
He's brought in yet Young he has flipped the long-standing storyline of the LDS kid, the return missionary. Now, you may say out there in radio land, I don't care. And good for you, because I don't give a crap either. I'm right with you.
But
I'm just telling you what
You've heard
things have been said to me. If you don't want to believe it, if you don't think 40 years in this business has any form of credibility, good. Change the station. Don't listen. I'm just going to tell you what has been said by higher-ups, that they're fine with the talent that comes in and does their thing and, don't have an embarrassing Retzlaff situation. And I'm not saying he's guilty or innocent. Nevertheless, it was embarrassing. And here's a kid right down the street. Anybody, metaphorically, is right down the street. But he literally is right down the street. And as I understand it, he's an LDS kid. Maybe I'm wrong, but I've been told he has. I don't care whether he is or not. I don't care whether he goes on a mission or not. None of that stuff matters to me. I'm just saying for representation that this is the type of kid who apparently has the talent. You have to have the talent, because having a bunch of LDS kids who keep the faith and go on missions and win 6 games does nobody any good. So we understand that. But from what I've been told, this kid has the talent, and I think it's important for Kevin Young to be able to get these types of kids. And I also think he's going to get them, so it doesn't matter in the end that he'll be able to do that. But I think that over time, it's cool to bring in, especially these one-and-dones, and everybody's getting all excited, and you're playing in all these marquee games and all, but it's got to represent, to a good degree, the faith. Literally the faith. Not an example who can do it, because if you have 10 of these guys that come in and are not of the faith and then play, it's great that you win, but it's not, see, this is what you can do. Not if that becomes the norm, then it isn't nothing, see what you can do. It's the norm. It's not unusual.
So he represents the historical roots of the program.
Yeah.
And they need a link to that.
I think they do. Based on what has been said to me.
Certainly in the mind of some key administrators.
Mm-hmm. And these are right out of the mouths of administrators. So, yes, former and current. I couldn't care less. They can do whatever. They can have 15 scholarships of whomever, Methodist, Jewish, Catholic. I don't care. Makes no difference to me. But for some people of the faith, it does make a difference.
Who are in key positions?
Yeah. And you say, well, okay, I've been on the road with the Cougars. And back when I was a beat guy, you would play a lot of, or at least a fair amount of Saturday, Monday. And it was a big deal when the young men went to church in the area. I heard about it.
Because they were playing those big Monday games on ESPN in that era.
Yeah. Right. And it mattered to the people there.
So you're out on the road and you could be in New Mexico, Colorado, California, wherever.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was a big
And the
deal when
BYU
they would
team-
show up.
The BYU team would show.
And that represents me. That's who I am. And for kids, if you're a 10-year-old and you see that,
Yeah, the day the BYU basketball team comes to
that's a huge deal. And that's important to people. And it should be important to people. I'm not going to mock that whatsoever. I think that this type of kid here is one that BYU needs to get.
Jeff says they're probably going to get him. Brett says, yes, they're going to reel him in.
Well, if you look at it, why wouldn't he want to go there? Unless you don't think you can get playing time because the level of talent has gone through the roof.
You just took the words right out of my mouth.
But you can transfer easily, though.
You can. And the other thing is the roster may change a lot, so even if you don't see playing time this year, it doesn't mean you won't see it next year. If you're planning on being there multiple years. I mean, if you're planning on being a one-and-done guy.
Well, yeah. I mean, you should expect that. I mean, Jimmer didn't start his freshman year. And so they brought him along. And then by the time he was ready to go, he was a major player, one of the best that they've ever had. By the time he was a junior, look out. By the time he was senior, it was incredible. Yeah. That's the way it should be, actually. For so many of the kids. A DeBonsa and some of these other types and a Cooper Flagg, sure, we understand that. Those guys are at a higher plane and they can go play wherever and they're going to play immediately. But a lot of players need some time to develop. That's natural.
It will be interesting to see what happens to the local talent with the Cougars bringing so many guys in from out of state. We talked about this when the Utes went to the Pac-12 and it changed their recruiting, but did they pass on some local guys and did that help other in-state schools? You know, one move and the dominoes start falling. And basketball's a little different than football. But there's still playing time at stake, and you can only take so many players.
Yeah, and I think for Kevin Young, I'm not telling him by any stretch to go get LDS talent for the sake of getting LDS talent. The talent has got to be good enough because he's established an extremely high bar. Unless they told Bronco, which I'll never understand why not everybody, but people got on him for the religion stuff in the program. That was one of the requirements for the job. And so if I am required to do something in my job and Joe down the street doesn't like it, well, tough. I never understood the criticism he got because if you know what he went through, as he told me and the way he spoke, he told everybody, I don't think since the time he's been in Logan, he's been running around with the Stripling Warriors conversations. Not to my knowledge that I've heard, and I didn't follow him as close when he's on the other side of the country, and he was just there for a cup of coffee in New Mexico. But when he's at BYU, that was part of the charge. So he did what his supervisors had told him that he needed to do in cleaning up the program. Oh, yes, and then win 11 games, which he did. 10 games, 11 games, conference titles, bowl games, all the above, he did. And so that's part of the deal. Now, if they tell Kevin Young, hey, you need to have 3 or 4 or 5 guys who are LDS on this team, okay. But if they say, just go win, and the recruits you get, make sure that they uphold the standards that we have. If I'm Kevin Young, I get the best talent that I could possibly get.
Expected to win like every other coach with a big paycheck.
I don't think he's had any charge in that regard as far as that goes. And all this stuff is maybe new to him, and he didn't go to BYU. He coached basketball with the intent of winning basketball games. But I think at BYU, it's a little bit different there, especially if the player is good enough and worthy to be on your team and play. Because there's some people that when Hall was a typical BYU recruit, and he left because you bring in an outsider. And I don't want to say it rubbed people wrong, but I think there is if this kid doesn't have a place at BYU, who does? So there's and this is not me talking. As I say, I couldn't care less. It doesn't matter. I have no personal stake in this whatsoever. I'm just reflecting things that have been said to me. If you want to take the shots at me, please do. I encourage it.
Dean Rueckert is a top 100 recruit. This will be televised today. CBS Sports YouTube channel will have it if you want to watch it. Clemson, Stanford,
CBS
Utah,
Jim
and
Nantz gonna be there?
Washington. No, I don't think so.
Hello, friends.
That would be awesome.
Well, he's got the Utah connection.
He does.
Dean, where are you going to go
I don't
to
think he
school?
spends a lot of time on the CBS Sports YouTube channel.
He didn't come to Utah just for a paycheck. He came to make a mark in the community, and all these years later, he's made a mark.
There it is. But a 6'8" kid who's a top 100 recruit figures there ought to be a little playing time for him. So that might be an issue for another player. I wouldn't think that's the way he's thinking.
Oh, in his mind?
Right.
Wherever he goes, he's going to play? Yeah. Oh, well, in college basketball, so he's a senior, and they start school here in the next week or two, so he'll have his senior year. Trying to predict who's going to be on BYU's basketball team next year?
Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
I mean, any team, for that matter.
Right. But there aren't going to be many top 100 recruits who are sitting next year. They will find a way onto the court.
You would think.
You would think.
Yeah.
So that'd be an issue for somebody else. But at this point, they're all sure they're going to play.
I would think he would play.
They're probably right.
Although it would be actually cool if he had a secondary role, because that means you got one heck of a team.
True story.
Yeah. But it's funny because 5-10 years ago, this would be major. It's like if they don't get this kid talent-wise, I don't know that's that big of a deal.
Talent-wise, they can probably go get some other top 100 recruits. And
He has so far.
right. And you're right. And it's sitting here 10 years ago, it'd be a completely
Oh, is
different
it got to
discussion.
get?
It'd be
Must have.
10 years ago, it'd be, is he willing to play in the West Coast Conference?
Ugh.
Because Washington, Big Ten, Clemson, ACC, Utah at that point would have been Pac-12, and Stanford would have been. So that would have been a bigger ask. But now BYU's in the Big 12, and it's a different era.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Now they're on top of the world, man.
There's an NIL for the top 100, so it would be odd if they couldn't get a top 100 player out of Utah County.
Well, when you look at all the other ones that they're getting, and they're the type of talent that they've been able to acquire, and I use the word acquire
Yeah,
appropriately.
That's a word we have to use now in college sports.
Yeah.
Certainly in football and basketball.
Right.
But other sports too. We just saw what happened in softball.
Yeah, right. And so this is the kind of kid that you want and you should be able to get. And it would be sort of ironic if he didn't go there.
It would be. It'd be an eye-opener.
Yeah. So I suspect that the answer would be yes and that he would. But, each kid is different. And he or she has the right to choose whichever institution he or she wants to go to and thinks it's the best fit. And then also, too, there's that the transfer thing on all that stuff. And, maybe you don't get them now, you get them later or whatever it might be. Keep the door open. I'm surprised that he didn't have Kentucky on that list, actually. Think with Mark Pope with the connection here.
He would have been back here, and
I assume he recruited him hard. And, there's a logical connection there, particularly if he goes on a mission. I have no idea if he's going to go on one. If he goes on one, and not that Pope went on a mission, and I don't think anybody, Kevin Young didn't go on one, but, you're around it enough and you could understand it. It's like we were talking with Scotty G about Heath Schroyer being an athletic director at Utah State. He wants a job. Well, he's not a Latter-day Saint, but that doesn't matter. You can understand. You can acquire the knowledge, as Ron McBride did, over a number of years to figure out, all right, I understand this situation here and what these kids are about. And David Shaw
figured it out.
Yeah, So it's not like that's a big requirement. But it does surprise me a little bit that he didn't include Kentucky under the circumstances, because Mark Pope, the separation between BYU and Mark Pope is not that long. It's only been, just not even a year and a half.
Right. And Pope would have known about him coming up, and why would he take his eye off him?
I would think so. But not that the kid, I don't criticize him for not choosing Kentucky as one of his finalists whatsoever. What was it? Utah, BYU, Clemson, and Washington?
And Stanford.
And Stanford? Yeah. Any one of those, man. If I had a kid, I'd be dropping on my knees in tears and gratitude. Go play for Alex Jensen. I mean, Alex can use that phrase, I know how to get you to the NBA. Clearly, Alex knows that. So if he doesn't go to BYU, he does me no good going to Clemson or Washington or Stanford. Yeah, I'm not going to be watching a whole lot of ACC basketball. I hope he goes to Utah. If he doesn't go to BYU,
stay local.
Go to Utah. Or if he doesn't go to Utah, go to BYU. Yeah, that would be a huge feather for Alex Jensen to be in a program right now that is so unknown. It's completely unknown about what it's going to do in the next 3 to 5 years. No idea. And I believe in Alex as much as anybody. So if he were able to get him,
that'd be a huge building block.
Yeah. Yeah, right. And that you're looking for selling points, and Alex needs some selling points. That program needs some selling points right now. I mean, Alex right now has selling points. He has the cachet with the fan base because he comes recommended from the great beyond by Majerus. That's a fact. Majerus would have signed off on that in an instant. And I think Majerus would have had a level of pride in that. This is my guy. I trained him. I trained him as a player. I trained him as an assistant coach
at St. Louis.
Yes.
Yeah. Literally followed him halfway across the country.
Right. And Alex, to his credit, has said that, Majerus is a major influence. Now, I think he'll treat some people better, but we're just talking about the basketball because I've said a million times over myself, I can hear Majerus' words in a lot of stuff when I talk basketball because he had a major influence. I was around the program for 10 freaking years. That guy took a lot of years off my life. And I'm sure I took a lot.
I was going to say, did you take a lot of his life?
As we got in the ring for a decade.
DJ PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. All right, well, we'll see what happens with the Timpview basketball star. And is he going to BYU or Utah or Washington, Stanford, or Clemson? And a few miles up the freeway, Weber State gets a win. Damian Lillard, general manager of his alma mater's basketball program. We'll get to his potential impact next.